Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the Yardage Streams. Not for the Raw Rewind, that's on Tuesday. Before we get to the Raw Rewind, we have to rewind a bit and talk about the Royal Rumble, the starting event on the road to WrestleMania. And I can't do it without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
What's popping? How we doing? Sunday. We got playoff football. We just had I would say a very good Royal Rumble event.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah. I would say it was good, not great. But some of the complaints that people have, I do not agree with. So we can talk about. I mean, I guess we can talk about it. And
Let's
if
talk
I'm
about it.
speaking in general terms, so one of the biggest complaints that I'm seeing from people, and this is just another example of how it does not matter what you do, you're never going to please everybody. This is just the latest example of that in wrestling. So I've seen so many people complain about the lack of legends in both the men's and women's Rumble matches. And it just reminds me of those years where half of the entrants basically would be legends, and people were pissed about it because then they were taking the spots of people who have been there and who deserve to be in it, right? Then they go like the complete opposite direction and they have like nobody because they have rosters that are so jam-packed, that there are 30 people currently employed that deserve to be in this match, and they're complaining about it. So it's like, I don't even think that it would matter if there was something in between, because there have been years where there was something in between and it still didn't satisfy people. So it just proves again that like wrestling fans in this instance are very fickle. And I was fine with that, honestly. I don't think they needed legends. Like, it's fun and whatever. I'm glad they didn't do with the women, because I feel like they were using that a lot for filler for the women specifically. So I'm glad that there are enough women on the roster that they don't need to be bringing in like 8 legends to fill the spot, you know?
Yeah.
But with the men's, I was like, I thought it was fine. I didn't think that we needed to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan or something, you know? Like,
there was no need for The Rock. There was no need for any legends. X-Pac, I know he's always someone that is rumored every year. I couldn't agree more. And I'm someone who loves a good legends pop. I don't agree, because you finally have a roster, and even a developmental roster, that deserves the spotlight over them. And last night was a great example of, it wasn't the greatest. These weren't the great, well, women's we'll talk about. I think that might be up there. But the men's, it was not one of the greatest of all time. It was not one of the worst of all time. It did a job that got you excited for the upcoming Mania season, not just the title matches themselves, but the stemming branches of undercard matches or stand and deliver matches, whatever the case may be, that we're going to see. And that's the job that the Royal Rumble has.
Yeah. I think, I think that there were definitely matches that weren't great, but I do think, I think part of the reason why we get such dramatic responses to wrestling now is because of the accessibility to news and rumors and speculation. And so people get really excited and get their hopes up about things like certain people are going to return, or a certain person is going to win. And because a lot of people are saying it, they believe that that's what's going to happen. And so then when it doesn't happen, it's like automatically I'm going to stamp this show to be one of the worst, because there were people who were literally saying that this was the worst Royal Rumble, and I was like,
Oh, that's a lie.
tell me you're 12 without telling me you're 12, because you don't
Seriously.
understand what a bad Royal Rumble is. You don't even have to
No.
go back that many years to
No, you
see
don't.
a bad Royal.
2014?
Well, no, it could even be like 2022 or whatever year it was. It was only like with the last 5 years was
The
one or
year
two bad
Randy
Rumbles.
was not that good.
So
The year he double
it's
won
it's just
was not good.
I think that between both Rumble matches, the ones who returned should have returned. The ones that didn't return shouldn't have returned. So I think that's fine. And I like the people that they chose to bring up from NXT. I think they were the perfect choices. Um, and I feel like as far as who came into the matches, who was a part of the Rumble matches, I don't really understand where the complaining is coming from besides the legends, which again, like I said, it's like
What do you want? Like,
yeah, like
do you
if
really
you
wanna
had
see Godfather strut to the ring and
that's
then
what
get
I'm
thrown over the top rope in, like, 3 seconds? Be like, "Oh my god, I saw the Godfather!"
I
It's like,
know.
"No, I don't care. We're not in that era anymore."
Well, and when it comes to the women too, it's like they don't have that many to choose from. So it's always like Kelly, Michelle McCool, Molly
Tori
Holly.
Wilson.
It's just like it's how many years in a row do you need to see the same legends? Like no disrespect to them, but it's like it's exciting the first time. It's not
Mhm.
the same the second, third, and fourth time. So
It's not.
um yeah, I think if you want, we can just like jump straight
Let's
into
just
the
jump
women's.
straight into well, yeah, let's get some comments here
Oh, okay,
before
hold
we
on. Let
do
me get
so.
oh, let me get
Um,
sorry. Okay, go ahead.
okay, what's poppin', David? Pitt, hey, I have a fan that's saying what's up. Bernard saying, Pat, you cheated. I did not. All right, and
I know. Did
everyone's
you
asking.
win? Did you win?
I won the women's.
Okay, I think I lost both of them because I just completely forgot about it.
I
So,
won the women's, and then my buddy Josh won the men's with Cody.
okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I had 3, 4, and 29.
Mm,
So not bad numbers. And
yeah,
Drew came out at number 29. And
yeah,
Drew's who I wanted to like my emotional stake in it. I wanted Drew to win. Obviously, we know that didn't happen.
yeah.
David thinks that Bianca Belair should have won. You know, to each
Nope,
their own opinion.
I
Um,
disagree.
WWE should utilize men and women on all 3 brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT every year. Maybe bring a couple legends a year, but I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Agreed. I like how we're on
I
the
don't.
same wavelength there.
I think
You know,
legends. It just depends. Like I think that legends are fun and stuff, but I
I know. I know.
feel it depends on the current state of wrestling because or at least in the company. If it feels like you can't think of 30 people that deserve to be in the match, then yeah, put in a couple legends to fill those spots. But like we're getting to a point where 30 is almost not enough. You know what I mean? Like we're getting to a point where they could do 40 and it wouldn't be like, oh, what? You know, it's like we're getting to that, which is nice because there have been plenty of years where you're like, why is this person in the Rumble? And it's like, okay, they just needed to fill a spot. But now it's like you're getting 30 people, and that's hard to cut it down to 30, you know?
At this
So
point, it's hard to cut it down to 30.
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't mind that there's no legends. Like, I'd rather see people who are busting their ass every single night all year long who deserve to be
Mhm,
in that match and get an opportunity to be in
mhm,
the match than a legend who's going to be in there for 10 minutes just because they want you to be able to be like, yay, nostalgia, you know, like,
mhm.
okay.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's a great place to start.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone expected that the women's rumble was going to open the show. I feel like it always does. So, I was fine with it. And
Yeah.
okay. Natalia starting number 1, totally fine. Naomi girl.
I was
I
looking at my phone like this, and I was like, "Okay, too," and then I hear the music, and
yeah.
I'm like, "Wait a minute, I know
Yeah.
that song," and that's what got me excited.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting someone to return at 2. I was thinking that maybe Bailey was going to be number 2 or something like that. Um so when I saw like I couldn't really hear the music, and then that was something that people said that the classic Rumble setup is so much easier because when someone comes out, you can see their Tron with the music. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like hard to identify who it was because that was kind of hard to see or hear
Mhm.
who was coming out. So once I saw that it was Naomi, I was just so excited because um I said this too, that I felt like if either her or Sasha were going to return, who did I think would be most likely? I said
And you did
Naomi.
say you did.
Yeah, and I said because I think it means more to her, you know? And so I'm very glad that she came out and she got like a huge reaction, which I think that was like a selling point for her to be number 2 because she did get, you know, more of a real introduction
Mhm.
um than if she was like number 7. And seeing her so overwhelmed before they even really like, you know, locked up or anything, like that was really cool to see because I think from this situation people got probably the wrong impression of Naomi, and
Mhm.
maybe there's a little bit of uh some of that can maybe be said about Sasha, except Sasha's kind of like she's gotten a reputation because
She's the boss.
no, it's because she's earned that reputation of not
Oh,
being
that I mean,
the
she has. She's a
yeah,
lot
like
better. Yes,
yeah,
she is
like
a
she's
better,
not the
bigger star.
nicest. Yeah, she's not the nicest and she's got an ego and whatever. So like or at least from what we've seen
All
in
what we got.
in instances um but I don't think that because of the situation and how it unfolded and then how Vince had commentaries discuss it and stuff, it kind of made you think differently or to some people of Naomi and thinking that her and Sasha had like the same mentality, the same ego, the same whatever. And so I think that it was great that she was able to just stand there and like soak it in and realize that like no, these fans actually do love you and they're very excited that you're back. And so
So excited, yeah.
starting the Rumble match off with Naomi, I was so excited.
I was very excited for it. Oh, I loved it.
So it was great to see her back. I loved that Bailey, who ended up being the winner, I love that she was in at number 3. I loved that. So he got her being the Iron Woman. So I loved that part. Um, I kind of also loved that Damage Control was eliminated fairly early.
Do you think that was planned?
I kind of don't think the Kairi Sane thing was planned. I think that they had to do it because her foot did touch the ground. But it's funny because it's like technically it was the tiptoe of
And
her
she coulda
foot.
lifted herself up,
Right,
yeah.
and it says when both feet touch the ground.
That's
I
it's
only saw the
both
tip.
feet hit
Yeah,
the mat. That's
I
what it that's
saw
the rules
I
are.
I saw it was, like, just her toe on one foot, and I think that maybe because the camera caught it, it might have been like, we might just have to go with it." Um, but yeah, it's hard to say because, I mean, the way she was hanging off of the ring didn't feel like that wouldn't have been planned because that's not a comfortable.
No, that was some Spider-Man type shit. The memes I've seen have been so funny.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god, incredible.
I just like because I figured that Damage Control was probably going to be in the match for a while and that they were going to be somehow involved with how Bailey won or something. That's what I assumed. So I like that. I kind of like in a way that they weren't involved. I like that it was something that it's like, no, Bailey did this. You know what I mean? Like, um, I liked that. And then what else? Oh, I'm sorry. My queen. I have several queens, but my queen Jade. I'm sorry. I might have to buy that shirt. Like, I don't even like love it, but girl, oh,
When she came out,
s-
so hold on, let me I have
I
a
just gotta
list of
say,
everyone. I have
smoking,
the she's a
smoking.
so I don't know, so this is out of all the names that came out, including the men's, the 60 names, the only ones I don't know who came out at what are 7, 8, 9 of the women's. So we had Natty, Naomi, Bailey, and then before you got Jade, you forgot one big name. I'll let you go there.
Hold on. I was gonna try and find the Rumble order for you. Um, okay, let's see. So which one? 7, 8, and 9?
Yes.
Asuka, Ivy, Katana.
Okay.
I don't know if you still need that, but WWE has it.
I just wanna
Well,
have it
I
for
we can talk about
personal
someone else,
record.
but I don't I just wanna talk about Jade for a second.
Okay, let's
That's
talk
all.
about it.
I think I know who you wanna talk about, but I wanna talk about
Mhm.
Jade.
Yeah, but let's talk about Jade.
So, first of all, yeah, um, this is not the debut I wanted for her, and I've been on here and I said that. I felt like she deserved a better debut than, just being the Rumble, and at first I was a little nervous because there were still, however many spots after her that could have been, a Sasha return or I don't know,
Mhm.
somebody big like that, you know what I mean? And so I'm really glad that that wasn't the case because I was like, I really don't want her debut to be overshadowed by anyone else returning. Like when you're getting close to number 30, you're like, okay, this is when they'll bring out another top person. So I'm
Big
glad they didn't
game.
do that. But I feel like she had a crazy great debut, very loud reaction. She looked incredible. The standoff between her and Bianca, like, don't tease us like this, Hunter, if you're
We
not
need
gonna
that
give it to
Mania
us.
match. They're going to.
They have to,
They
right?
have to. Come
Like,
on.
and that's the thing is like there are a few women's matches that they could actually have at Mania that don't involve the title that I feel like are just as good, if not better, than the ones that they can have for the title. And that is one of them. And I feel like you need to make an exception and just have
Mhm.
this match for no reason. You know what I mean? Like it's not for a title, doesn't even have to be for number one contender, doesn't have to be for anything except for like we're two queens and we want to face off against each other because everyone wants to see us, Bianca versus
Oh,
Jade.
yeah.
So
Everyone wants to see it. That stare
I
down was electric. I
so
loved
I'm
how
wondering,
they started the stare down with they were pushing up and
yeah.
then just dropped them into the stare down. It felt
Mm,
so superhero-esque,
mhm.
like, and that's what you need to do to build not Bianca so much up, more to keep her at that
Yeah.
level, but you needed to do it with Jade to build her up to get to that level.
Yeah. And so I assume I mean, I don't know. I still like the idea of Jade being a free agent, but if they really are gonna go in this direction with Bianca, that means she's on SmackDown. She needs to be on Raw,
She
but that's
needs
why
to
I'm
be on
saying
Raw. No,
I
she
know.
needs to be on Raw.
I know, but they you can't but I don't know if they would do
You can't
like an
have that's Damage Control, that's Bianca,
no, that's Asuka, that's
Damage Control.
oh yeah, I meant well, yeah, okay, and then Charlotte. I know, no, SmackDown's packed, so it's
Agreed.
like,
Yeah, we're on the same page.
but that's why I think that she should be a free agent. She can go back and forth. Like, I think that would be fine. Like, and the fact that that was even an option in the draft, they haven't utilized it. So why not
I
let
have
her be
not.
one of them? Um. So anyway, yes, Jade, that was great. I was fine with it. Jordan Grace,
That was my favorite one of the night, hands down. This
crazy.
was my favorite debut, whatever you wanna call it, because Jordan Grace is someone who revolutionized women's wrestling. It just in general. And what?
Oh no, McCaffrey literally it was
Oh,
like
sorry,
this.
I thought you were reacting to me.
No, it
Sorry.
was like the seas parted and he was just able to run right into the
Okay. I
end
thought you
zone.
were just like, "Oh, she okay, sure."
Mm-mm,
No,
mm-mm.
she did.
Sorry.
She did. She absolutely did. And e the way I think more of this on, like, a big picture standpoint that having Jordan Grace appear in this Rumble, it's the beginning of a working relationship with TNA and WWE, and the easiest way to do so. Because when you think of the 2 companies, they're very similar in their women's division,
Mhm.
okay? And I mean this in the best way possible. They have their stars, they have their, main event, upper card, whatever you wanna call it, that are just they'll go with the guys, I mean? They'll face off in intergender matches. They'll put on women's title knockout hardcore matches, stuff like that. You have that with WWE, but you kind of can combine it and you have the, dream matches that are more doable, I would say, in this regard than in the men's. And now that the Forbidden Door is basically just a glass window, it just that's what it feels like to me. Even Triple H in his press conference comments made a comment
Mhm.
about it. Um, he believes in the forbidden door. Don't let those comments sway you. It's just more what he's thinking, and I agree with this as well, that it's not really so much forbidden anymore,
They
because of the age.
even Well,
What?
because they
Go.
even mentioned it. They said that Jordan Grace was the TNA Knockouts champion. So
Champion.
it was like the fact they even like I know that we had Mickey James when she was the Knockouts champion as well, but to me
But that's WWE. She
it
had that,
didn't
yeah.
feel as
I agree.
monumental as
I agree.
this, because then I think it was SRS that said it too. At that time, technically Mickey was not under contract with TNA. She was like they were on a verbal agreement. So that was
Mhm.
again, it's Mickey James. It's not like
Yeah.
Jordan Grace like super TNA
Oh,
face,
she
right?
is the face of Knockout, yeah,
That's what I mean.
agree.
So like her coming out in this match is like such a bigger deal than it was with Mickey because she is the champion. She is under contract with TNA. And so she had no affiliation with WWE prior to this, like Mickey. So like this was huge. And the fact that they chose Jordan Grace of all people too. Like that should tell you. And I like that when she came in, Naomi was still in there.
Oh, and they had the
Chelsea was in
moment.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I liked Queen Chelsea. That was the other one. Chelsea and
Oh my
Piper,
god.
dude.
I love Chelsea Green. That might be her, Kayla Braxton, I think are my two, crushes in WWE. I love them
I
so much.
I have been a fan of Chelsea's. I've said this a lot, but since
You
she was on Tough Enough, and I wish I could find like the tweets and stuff of like me tweeting about her because on my old account. Um, So I'm just so happy that she's in this role and she's just so funny. She's so naturally good.
well, she's
I'm
so
s-
naturally entertaining. Yes.
it's and her and Piper like again like not a
When
pairing
Piper when Piper almost dropped her.
and
She's
almost
like,
made
"I
it
got
seem
you."
like she was going to too.
Yeah. Oh my
And I
god,
was like,
like,
don't do this to Chelsea right
oh my
now. Don't
god,
do
it's
this.
so funny. And then
So
Piper just fucking
oh my
smashing
god.
her
And
into
then and Chelsea's reactions to being squished in the corner. Oh my god, she's so good.
she's so talented. It's so hilarious. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
so again,
Oh,
I
it's
would say
hilarious.
like as one of the rehires, I think she's my favorite rehire for Triple H because I feel like I, I think that she would have been good in her first run had she never been released, but again, it feels kind of like another situation where maybe she was cut at the right time, was able to go and do the indies and TNA and like grow and get better and do stuff with, Matt. And now she's in a situation where we're sitting here talking about her like this, and it's because of that time away. So yeah, it was just the women's match again stole the show. Like again, for I don't even know what year in a row, but the women's Rumble match was better than the men's. Again, I would say
It was better.
it
It
is.
it really was. I was so entertained by the Women's Rumble. Like, I don't know if it was because of the fact of I don't know why. But I just thought it was so entertaining the way they do it, the way they did their Rumble match.
And when I saw people saying this last night, I was kind of trying to think about like why is that? Because I wouldn't say. I mean, I wasn't particularly fond of the men's match. But I mean, I can discuss that. But um, when I was trying to think about it with the women, it's almost like I don't know why it's better. I don't know if it's because it's still like kind of new for us because it's only been like 6 years or something that they've been finally doing the women's, or if it's almost like the women are determined to have the better match, and part of it is because it's like they want to make up for all the years that they didn't have the
Mhm.
match, and it's like okay, we want to it's like friendly competition but
Absolutely, yeah.
they're
I would agree.
dominating basically. um
Yeah, yeah.
so I almost feel like yeah, it's like a conscious effort for them, like they want to be the better one, and they've been doing great because I mean I think that when they first said they were going to be doing the women's Royal Rumble, people were not 100% on board with it because especially at that time, like people wanted to say that they were um supportive of women's wrestling when they really weren't. And I think you can tell when you watch some of those rumbles, like it's not as enticing and the fans are as invested in it as they are
Yeah.
now. So I am excited. Like I'm glad that they were able to deliver again and like they were the better of the two, because that's pretty cool to be able to say again, you know.
I was so happy too to see my dude, R-Truth.
Oh my god. Did you see the clip that they posted backstage of them too? Oh my gosh.
That's
It's
what you told me. He's like, "I didn't say that."
He's
It's
like, "I
like, "What?"
didn't tell you to go out in the women's match." And then he's like, what happened to your hair?" And he was like,
It's like,
that's Nick." And he's like, "Mysterio?"
I need a drink. It's my
Yeah.
favorite Adam Pearce line. It's something straight out of, like, a sitcom or something,
Yeah.
that when he says that, that's the end of the scene. Like, it's so well done, and it's also good for him to have something like that, that he does,
Yeah, because
like
it's kind of like he kind of is like the polar opposite of Nick Aldis, which I kind of like that though.
I
Like they're
do.
very similar in the way of like wanting to have control over the show and like contain the
Yeah,
chaos
I
and
mean,
whatever.
yeah.
But Nick doesn't have that like the same like comedic factor that Adam brings, you know?
No, yeah.
And so I think that's kind of nice that that's what makes them different. And it's like
Mhm.
and it feels like when it comes to Adam it's natural. Like he's just probably a
It is very
naturally funny
natural.
guy.
It is very
So,
natural. It comes to him naturally.
I
I do
like
love
that they
that.
did that in the women's match because I think if it had happened in the men's or something, it doesn't hit as easy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah,
No.
he could be in the Rumble. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like if it was 30 and then he came out, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that I guess that would have been funny, but it's more funny the fact that he went into the women's and they were like, "What is going on here?"
But I love though too, he didn't, like, try to go at them and be like, "Yeah, I'm in this match." He was like, "Where are the men?" Like,
Yeah.
that's even more to it, because that's the, of like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be here," but, like, it's like, I don't know, the
Yeah,
comedic there.
something's off. Something's
Something,
weird.
and this was what I really liked about it too, and I really hope they do it, praying. They did it with him and Sarah Logan, which, hold on, a
Mm.
little other backtrack. Did you notice Michael Cole's commentary?
Oh my gosh, he's
"Where are the
wearing the
antlers?
antlers. The antlers
Where
are
are the
back. I
antlers?"
know.
Because I'm
That
a big
was
Watchamania fan, and they've been doing that, like, he's been doing some, like, thing about it on Botchamania,
the
and I thought it was hilarious.
It's I guess it was because it originally started too, because he called them antlers and she got offended because it
Oh,
was like, it's
okay.
their well, her character got offended.
No, I know,
Yeah,
I know,
being
yeah.
like,
I know Valhalla.
it's not antlers, you know, like
Yeah,
whatever, blah okay, what? I can't with this
and
picture of
then,
Lola Vice
oh, Lola Vice, there we go,
wearing like
girl.
no clothes with
Yeah, you
Rhea
just
Ripley.
over.
I'll
Okay,
send I'll send it to
yeah,
you.
yeah, and then, but okay, back to my original point.
Yes, sorry.
I like how they did it with her, because they're both on Raw. You can have her be so pissed at him for
Mm,
ruining her moment that
mhm.
she sends Ivar. And then you get Ivar and Truth, maybe even Ivar and Judgment Day feuding two in a way. So it keeps Ivar and their story fresh, that they can do something. They're on TV again, and it's not the same old song and dance with, him and Bronson Reed just slapping around meat on Monday nights. So I
Mhm.
like that. That was my in that like that was really kind of where my headspace was at. A lot during last night was, where's the future of this?
Yeah.
Is this just a one-off thing, or are we going to be consistently setting up stuff for WrestleMania? And this was definitely an instance where they're setting something up, maybe not for Mania or the Elimination Chamber, but at least something for TV.
I agree. All right. Let's move on to the main event that wasn't the main event. Roman
Yeah, you
versus
you you got some thoughts, because
Roman Reigns
I
versus
really don't. So
well, it's funny. I have thoughts, but I don't have thoughts. That's the thing that's funny.
well, if you
Roman
have
Reigns
some
versus
more,
LA
then
Knight versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. So, I really hate that this was the second match of the night. The fact that Kevin Owens and Logan Paul went on after this match. beyond comprehension to me. Like I don't think there's anything that anyone could say to me that would make this make sense. Like I don't see. And the main thing is it's not even just because of the classic way that matches of this caliber are treated, where it's like, okay, a main event match doesn't necessarily have to be the last match, but a main event match is never the second match. There's no argument that can be made about that, unless you were talking about Mania, I guess, and it's like every match is a main event, right? Like when they want us to do that. But I think I would have less of an issue if this was the third match. And because when you have it on second, I think, I forget, I don't know who was saying it on Twitter, but it was like, it makes the title feel so inconsequential. Like this match didn't feel important. It didn't feel significant, at least in my eyes. It didn't feel like this was for the title that the guy's been holding for nearly 4 years. So that bummed me out because like I'm not mad about the men's Rumble being the main event. I just don't think that this should have been before Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. I just think they should have swapped. That's, I guess, it's a simple thing. I just I don't understand it. I don't see it. But I also, this match was all right. I don't feel that it was great. I don't feel like it was bad. I feel there was no point in Solo's moment. I didn't see any reason for that.
I did. So,
well, of course you did. But I just mean, like, to me, it ended up like not really playing a significant factor. Like they didn't have it be the reason necessary, like the direct reason that Roman won, which obviously that's a huge change. But it did kind of like it when you watch it, like you can hear basically like the energy shift in the arena, in the stadium. And to me, that's like a sign of like this wasn't a good idea, because it's like people checked out immediately. People knew how it was going to end.
They knew once. Yeah, it's more like a signal, like the bell's ringing, class is over type of thing.
Yeah, and it's like that was a universal feeling, I think, for even the people watching at home. It was like immediately, like and I'm not gonna lie, I was not even like sitting there watching this match like the way I was with the women's Rumble match. I was not sitting there with my eyes glued. I already knew what was going to happen, and predictability, I've said, can be good sometimes, but in this instance, it's not good.
It's not,
because not only did everyone know that LA, AJ, and Randy had absolutely no chance, and they knew that someone was going to get involved, which they did, and then the ending felt rushed. That also was weird.
The ending did. I will agree there that the ending did feel rushed. I would say that would be my one of my few complaints about the match, is that I did not expect them to go right into, oh, that's the end. You know, I was
Yeah, and like I
I'll go with
said,
that. Okay.
I was kind of okay with that. Solo's presence and actions wasn't the end all be all, moment for Roman to win. There were minutes between that. So I was fine with that, but it was just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, Roman wins. And it was like, wait, what are we doing? Because you would think that that was like at the end of the show and they had to speed things up, or it was an episode of Raw and like they don't go 7 minutes over anymore. Like, so that felt weird to me, because I was like, it makes you wonder, did someone get hurt? Did Rome, like, what's going on here? Because like this type of match shouldn't feel like that, especially if we're supposed to believe like this is the fatal 4-way. This is the first time he's ever defended his title this way. It's brutal. It's this and it's that, and then he wins like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know about it.
Huge pick by the Lions.
Yeah,
Let's go, Malcolm Rodrigo, baby.
There's a flag though.
Rodrigo. Oh, is a flag?
Is my TV ahead of yours? It might be.
It might be a little bit. Okay, with my thoughts on this, I wouldn't say it was underwhelming. I would say it was just fine. I wasn't really expecting a lot from this match anyways, except to, do a decent job, and it did. The Solo spot, I didn't tune out. My eyes glued more into, okay, it's the end of the match. How are we finishing this? And how are we going to do this the right way? So obviously you knew Randy could not be involved in the pin or whatever. The solo spot was strictly to tease them at Mania. And if that actually ends up being into fruition, then boom, then you did your job there. Having having Styles and LA Knight low key cost each other the match incidentally, and then AJ taking the pin,
Mhm.
that was
That
all
was
that was the only thing I think had my eyes glued to this match was I had to know who took the pin.
yeah. And we didn't think it was gonna be AJ, or I didn't. You said that you thought it could be.
I thought it could be AJ. I did not think they were gonna do it to LA Knight.
I thought they were gonna do it to him, but
Yeah.
I think that yeah, Randy versus Solo, that's fine. I do think they need to work on what they're doing with Solo though, because he just it doesn't he just doesn't hit the same right now. Like, and I think it's not even necessarily a knock on Solo, and I think a lot of people were kind of implying that he's kind of responsible for his reaction. No, guys, it's the bloodline. It's the bloodline
Yeah,
reaction. It's
yeah.
like, why do you think a year ago today was the Sammy turning on Roman moment? Do you hear
The
that?
hottest story. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
hottest
because
story.
Roman stopped showing up. That's why we're at where we're at with the bloodline. Like,
Mhm.
that's why people don't care about Solo Sikoa. But he's like a great opponent for Randy at this WrestleMania. Especially given the circumstances of why he was out for 18 months. Solo was right there, you know? So to me, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Um, I I think that yeah, this could normally we were thinking that this would be a way for them to set up the elimination chamber to become the number one contender to face Roman. Obviously, that's not happening. So I really like the idea of LA Knight versus AJ Styles at Mania. I love that idea because I feel like that is a, pardon the pun, phenomenal first like debut WrestleMania match for LA Knight. Like you couldn't dream of a better opponent for your first one than AJ Styles. It's like getting
Mhm.
John Cena or Randy Orton or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um and I feel like people are invested in it enough that people would want to see that. Like I know that there's people
Mhm.
who are saying I want him against Logan Paul. It can possibly happen, but the way that that ended, which we'll talk about, the way that ended with Kevin makes it seem like that door is still open. So like
Mhm.
that story's not over yet. And how they somehow get LA infused in that, I don't know. But if we're just going off of this match, then I feel like AJ versus LA, heck yeah. I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would be awesome.
That would be that is the move. I really hope we get LA. See the thing, I'm on the boat of I want LA Knight to be US champ, so I want him desperately to be in a feud with Logan Paul. But the way things are going, you can have Logan Paul KO AJ LA Knight at Elimination Chamber, and then you start because let's be real, LA Knight Logan Paul only needs like a month of build up. You know, it doesn't
You
need a
don't,
big
yeah, you
build up.
don't need it that much for anyone to get behind LA or to get people to hate Logan. So it's like, but see, like, I don't know. I don't know. I need to see the progression of how we get there because I hate the idea of going from Roman Reigns to Logan Paul. I don't love it. So,
Both megastars in their own way, man.
okay, stop. Let's not. Let's not. But since we're talking about Logan Paul,
Let's
let's talk.
talk about him even more. My guy, the Maverick.
His song, top 10 worst,
Whoa!
top 10 worst,
Whoa!
top 10 worst of all time. All time.
As someone who listens to wrestling theme songs on a daily basis, yeah, it's not good.
It's top
It's
10 worst
yeah,
easily.
there's some Ring of Honor people who have way better theme songs than you.
Yeah, it's
Dalton
bad.
Castle.
Um
Oh my god, I love Dalton
so
Castle.
this match I think was better than expected, if you can even say that. I think it was just like they got time, which I think was good. Um I similar to how we thought or how we know a Roman Reigns match is going to go. I think most people knew that this was not going to be a clean finish. So when we see, the random uh pal of Logan just show up out of nowhere. I want to just be like, where's security? How is this guy jumping? Oh, like, what are we doing?
So funny.
It's like, what is happening right now?
Oh, I thought it was stupidly funny. I was like,
the thing
really?
is,
Like,
if we're supposed to believe
obvious.
that the security was like, you need to get out of here, I'm like, we've seen when random fans jump the barricade and how you treat them. You don't just stand there and start pointing and being
You're like,
move,
guys,
move.
you
It's
gotta
like,
move.
yeah,
They tackle you.
I know. They're like, I will kill you with my 2 hands, you know? And this
I
guy
will
was
kill
just
you.
like, keep standing there, buddy. Do what you want, you know?
No. Well, you gotta go. Get back.
So, yeah.
Back. You
So,
back.
we knew that the brass knuckles, or I said the brass knuckles were probably going to be involved, which they were.
You did say that. I did. Yep.
But,
Okay.
so I like that Kevin noticed and he knew that that was going to happen as well. So he made sure to take them and use them. And I gotta tell you, when that happened, I grabbed my face because I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. Like, I literally thought that was it. Logan's done. And then I was like, this motherfucking ref, dude. Never in my life have I ever seen this, okay? Never in my life have I ever seen a ref look at the hand of a wrestler as they are pinning somebody, especially when it's brass knuckles. Like, if it's a chair, when we want to look at like the hilarious times of Eddie Guerrero throwing a chair in and then just falling, playing possum. Like, yeah, you can't hide a chair, but like, they're like, Graves said that it was a rookie mistake by Kevin. I was like,
that's the heel commentary, though. I love that. That was a great call.
Yeah, but like I
said,
very
Heenan-esque. That was a very Heenan-esque call by Corey Graves.
This leaves the door open, obviously, for oh, that's so cool. Sorry, the fact that they have all those fans at the stadium watching the game.
They have Detroit car workers that
I know,
are taking off to go walk. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
A big freaking deal.
Anyway, so this being left open, I just wonder where it goes from here because obviously it's not over. And so Kevin is going to have a rematch or something, or they're going to have elimination chamber to determine the number 1 contender again, which I think is just like, okay, guys, I appreciate the effort in trying to make the US title relevant. But it's just we're not there. It's like when they did this last year. Oh, hello.
Will Chisholm. What's up, dude? Thank you for the dono. Thank you.
I was gonna say, nice to see you. I don't think we've seen you before.
I don't think we have. Welcome to the Yard of Streams, and we appreciate your donation. We'll even give you a nice shout out with your comment. When it comes to the Women's Rumble, I think Bayley is the right winner. Plus, great to see Naomi and Jordan Grace was a good surprise. I totally agree.
1,000%. Bayley was 100% the right winner. We didn't even really talk about Bayley when we were talking about the.
We didn't even talk about the winner.
That's insane. I think it's because we've knew it for months.
Yeah, go watch our shit in the archives. Like, seriously, because we've been saying it the entire time that she needed to win. Everything that we would have said on the stream already, it would have just validated what we've said in the archives and past live streams and clips that you see on the YouTube channel. So just go check that out because everything that we said there, just echo it. It's happening.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is just I'm glad that they had her be like the Iron Woman too. I'm sure that was partly not on purpose because it was literally like a less than 2-minute difference between her and Rhea or something. So I don't know that it was actually intentional, but I do like that they had her enter early because I like that. I prefer that than the one that enters at 29 or 30 winning. You know what I mean? Like. So I'm happy with that for Bayley, and she just deserves it. I mean, Triple H said it best in saying that she's like underappreciated, and it's true. So like she's such a selfless worker. Like I'm just happy for her. We're so happy for you, Pam. We're so happy for you. So anyway, so I'm assuming that we're probably going to get like another year of Elimination Chamber for the United States title, which is fine. I just think that we might need some more compelling people involved in the match, because the match was great last year. You know, Montez, Bronson, uh, Austin Theory. I forget who else. I forget who else was in the match, but you know, it was a great match. But I feel like there's just something about the US title where it's like they can't figure out how to get people to care about it the same way that they care about the Intercontinental title. So, thinking about them doing another Elimination Chamber style match to become the number one contender is not as exciting for me, because it's like, yeah.
No, I don't wanna
But
see that for the United States. I wanna see that
no,
title be
no, to become
defended.
the number one contender. That's what I
For the
mean.
United States Championship?
Yes, the same way
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't
did
wanna see that.
to face them at Mania.
Yeah, I don't wanna see that.
Oh, they did that last year.
I know. I'm bored of it,
I
and
think it's the
that's
only
not how
way that
you
they
get it.
get Logan or I'm sorry, LA Knight involved, if that's really what you want. I just don't know how else they just randomly slide him from Roman to an
Do a tournament
AJ.
on SmackDown.
Well, I'm saying they have to do what other elimination chamber? We're gonna have one elimination chamber match
No, you have a women's one, and then
and
you
a men's
have one
one
from the yeah.
for the world heavyweight. I don't know, but um, do you have any
There's so
comments
many good
about this match other than
honestly, like, I love KO, top 3 right now, but, like, I just
it was fine?
it was fine. I really have no other comments about it.
Yeah, I think it was what we it was like it was longer and like better than I think we thought it was going to be, like I said.
Mm.
But I feel like when you see that it's going to be Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, it's like you kind of already know that it's going to be a good match.
Yes.
So, it's
And
like,
I liked a lot of spots in there too. I liked
yeah.
when Logan was yelling at Michael Cole or Corey Graves, to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, look at this," and then KO hit his signature, like, inverted suplex or
Yeah.
inverted super suplex. I love that spot. There's a lot of, like, spots in this match that I really liked,
Mhm.
um, and I did like that I mean, the ref spot was awesome, for him to catch the brass knucks. And my only thing I liked about it was that it's going to continue this a little bit. It protects Logan, it protects KO because
Mhm.
even though he is, technically a babyface, this is something that Kevin Owens would very much do
Mhm.
is, take the brass knucks from his opponent and use them.
Yeah.
I kind of called the Eddie Guerrero factor where
Mhm.
he's
Oh,
going to do
yeah.
heel things,
Mhm.
but he's over with the crowd. And KO's at that stage right now. And also, I do like that Logan's aligning himself with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
Oh, yeah. The Aussie
Um,
icon.
I love that group because then it gives Logan Paul just something to do and be on the like involved. He just signed that new contract and he said, "Oh, I should probably start treating my full-time job instead of a hobby."
That
Because
last
he's good, like, he's so
But
good, like
also, stop saying, oh my god.
no, he's good, I'm sorry,
No,
he
no, that's
is
not what I'm saying. The
oh, I'm
fact that he
sorry.
calls it a hobby is so, don't even get me
Oh,
fucking started on that. Saying it's a
okay,
fucking hobby when you have the title. Bro, shut up.
it's
It's gross.
yeah, he's a heel, I don't know,
No, he means that shit. That's what he
I
means that
don't like I've
100%.
yeah, I am not the biggest Logan Paul guy, but,
I can't
I mean,
defend
if the
that,
man's
sorry.
bringing him that's why you're
Calling
better than I
professional
guess,
wrestling a
so
hobby. Cute.
yeah, I don't like it either, but I also have family members that tell me that it's fake all the time, and I have to wide
Yeah, but that's
shut
fine.
out that noise, and I'm just
That's
like,
not, they're not wrestlers though. They're not trying to be in the wrestling business. So there's a big difference
"Oh, they
there.
want nothing to do with it." I'm the only one.
Yeah. So then we move on to the men's, which seems like everyone and their mother knew that the second Jay came out that it was going to be him and Jimmy in the ring at first. So
Oh, I already
we did,
had it written down in my notes. When they
yeah.
went to Jay, I went, "Oh, Jimmy's
S-
next."
Yeah, I mean, this is
Great moment, though.
the most we've
Great
seen of
moment.
Jay in like a month, because he's not been doing anything on Raw. But I did love their like disgust for each other. Uh what else happened? I don't even know who's number 3. Uh
Oh, I have it right here. I have it in my handy dandy iPhone. We had the
well,
Aussie icon at 3.
oh, okay. I I just want you to know I predicted like every return and debut and stuff. Just
Did
wanted
you
to let you
really?
know. Well, not on here, but on my Twitter, because we didn't even talk about debuts and returns really.
Oh,
We
wow,
didn't even
okay.
do that on our prediction. So Andrade, yes, honey, that was exciting. But again, people didn't know who it was because you couldn't see anything.
He had the mask on.
No, I know, but I'm saying like you couldn't see like, okay, what does the Tron say? Like you couldn't even see like his name or anything. And then when he took the mask off, you're like, holy crap, okay. I can't believe it's been 3.5 years. That's insane to
It is
me.
a while. That does seem wild. Because he didn't go right
Very
to AEW. He went to CML, right? Or
yeah,
AAA
I don't
in
know exactly.
Mexico.
Yeah,
Yeah, he went
Um,
there first.
so I was very excited about that. More excited that he returned when Charlotte's gone because I feel like that would be more annoying. Just because I can feel her being like, "That's my husband. That's my love." Blah blah blah, and then
Well,
whatever.
she was oiling him up backstage. Did you
Jesus
see that
Christ.
video? No,
No,
I'm legit. No, legit. Like she was
I'm
doing.
not
She was
saying you're
doing.
lying. I'm just like,
Oh
okay,
no, I
girl.
wasn't trying to make like a joke or anything.
No,
Like
I
she
didn't
was.
think you were. I'm just
I
no.
was more informing the peeps.
Anyway, so I was excited about that. I love that he would not align himself with Santos because Santos was like, "Oh, another Mexican. Let me join with you. Join the real
Brother.
LWO." Yeah.
No,
So I'm
Andrade's
just
LWO.
excited about the possibilities of what we can get out of Andrade. I'm very curious if they bring him back down to NXT or not. I'm curious about that. I'm not too concerned about it just because Black and Gold era. So Triple H is now calling the shots. I don't think he needs to go down to NXT, but curious to see which show he lands on and who they want him to feud with first. Because I mean, we saw kind of, but like I don't feel like we're gonna get Santos versus Andrade. Like I don't
No,
know
too
that.
early.
No.
Way too early.
Um, what else did I like?
Well, let's go down.
We
Let's
had
go down the
Carmelo
list.
Hayes.
He came out at 5, Nakamura at 6, then we had Santos at 7, Karrion Cross at 8, Dirty Dom at 9.
Oh wait, Braun Breaker. So
He was 20.
allegedly, they're
Mhm.
trying to claim, which I think to a certain extent is true, that he took the spot of Brock Lesnar. So I agree to that extent because
Mhm.
he came in and went right after Gunther. I mean, that seems like that's what Lesnar would do because everyone's been talking about Lesnar versus Gunther at Mania, so that makes sense. The one part that I find hard to believe, which people are trying to double down on, was that Dom is the one who eliminated Braun. I find it very hard to believe that Dom would have eliminated Brock Lesnar, but
Ooh,
allegedly that's what was
I'm
supposed to happen at the Elimination Chamber, which I was
I'm
like,
torn.
I
I'm torn.
uh,
Wait, Braun versus
no,
Dom at Chamber?
Lesnar versus Dom at Elimination Chamber. That's what some people are trying to put out there, and I'm like, that's not. No, absolutely not. That's
No, Sarah, you're gonna hate me for saying this. I want it.
of course you do.
Oh
It's because now
man.
you can't have it. We don't want Lesnar on.
Whoa.
We don't want
That cut deep.
we don't want Lesnar. So
Well, yeah, I know that. I know we can't have him, but
yeah.
that would you want because you can't have it. That cut deep.
Yeah. So I mean I guess that was cool. I mean I predicted Braun Breaker was going to be on here because he's been a guy that I feel like people thought was going to be on the main roster a lot sooner. So that was cool for him. He had some good moments, eliminated quite a few people. I do think that now there is a void with what Gunther's going to do at Mania. So I'm very intrigued with how they're going to handle that. Because you assumed that it was going to be Lesnar, and now it can't be Lesnar. So it's like, okay, who are they going to do next? Because I don't think it should be Braun Breaker. Because there were people saying that he should dethrone Gunther, is what people were saying last night. And I was like, what crack are you smoking?
The
What
crack
crack?
that hit. The
Because
crack
I
that
don't
hit at
want
the
it.
end of
I don't give me that shit. Like
it was
you
probably
got
the crack that was supposed to hit at the end of the show. That didn't.
imagine people saying like Chad Gable is the one that needs to dethrone him, and then 2 months later they're like Braun Breaker deserves to do like
I'm
you
still
are,
on the Chad Gable train, by the
and
way.
that's fine. If that was it, then that's fine. I still don't want it to happen at Mania because God, Lee, I don't want my first time seeing Gunther in person be that he loses his first match in like 2 years. I don't. But anyway,
I have to pick.
what else did we see? Punk
I'll
returned
just
at
go down
what?
right now.
25
Punk
and
came out at 27.
was acting like he came
What?
out at number 7. Holy hell. Like, walk on the treadmill, brother. Do some sort of cardio, sir. Man.
Yeah,
He
I
was
mean,
beat in like 5 minutes. I was like, this is like the best way for you to have a first match back. You don't really have to be doing something constantly. He looked like
him
he
and
had been in
Cody
there for
did
an
have.
hour.
Well, him and Cody did put on a match for like an hour to
Well,
end the thing.
yeah, so before we get there, Drew at 29 loved it. I was really wanting
I
Drew to be in
wanted
the
him to win.
top 3, top 4. So I'm pissed that they had him out at 5. Especially because the ending should have been Cody because he has an issue with Cody, CM Punk because he has an issue with Punk, Sammy as well, and Jay. That should have been like the final.
The
That should
final
have been
5.
that should have been what it was, and then Drew should have been in the top 3, like Cody, Punk, Drew. That's like, in my opinion, that's how it should have been. So I was really upset when they knocked him out. It doesn't make me feel any more comfortable believing that he's going to re-sign with them. That's the thing that I just keep thinking about, that I'm like, oh God, this guy's probably on his way out. And I just don't want to think that. And I think I was legitimately shocked by the ending. I was
too.
legitimately shocked that Cody won. And I wouldn't even say it was in a bad way or a good way. I would say a good way because I really didn't want Punk to win. But I think I had convinced myself it was Punk or nothing. So
you did. You were like, it's Punk or nothing. I'm like, no, it's gonna be Punk. I'm like, even the guy who wanted Punk, I was like, well, it could do other ways.
Yeah. So I think that some people checked out a little bit when it came down to them in the final 2. But
looked away for a second.
And like, I was shocked that Cody won, and it took me a minute because obviously the Cody fan in me was happy because like he's just like started crying like immediately, and I was just like, brother, you can't do this every single time, okay? Because it hits my heart every time. Because then he did it in the press conference too. He was speaking to me in that press conference. I don't know if you know this, but when he was talking about how it's hard to be a Cody Rhodes fan when you've been a fan of his since the beginning, hell yeah, brother. I was sitting there and I was like, this man is talking to me directly,
right to you.
Because that's me. Yes. And I'm like, I had just been looking at the pictures of like how I want to make a collage or whatever for hopefully meeting him at Mania, so I can show him like, I have been a fan since the beginning, bro. And then he says that, and I'm like, I can't not be happy for him. Like, even if it's not my ideal situation, like I said, I wanted to see like a little bit more of a bumpy road for him to get back to Roman. The fact that he was so emotional about being the first one in 26 years to do it back to back, the fact he did it in Tampa, which is dusty land, the fact that they had Roman watching the match, and so he was able to like point to him right away, and Roman looked like he was about to break down and cry. I'm excited. I'm more excited about being able to see this because I think that I'm starting to finally believe it can happen this year. And it's like, you better pray to God that he loses, because I will be a puddle if he wins. Like, that will be, man.
That'll be, I don't know. I'm excited to see that, and I'm very happy for him that he's finally getting a second shot. And this feels eerily, I was waiting for the right moment to bring up this point. But I think this is a good time. Do you see a lot of similarities right now between the end of this bloodline feud, or bloodline story, I mean, and Cody, to JBL Cabinet and Cena WrestleMania 21 build up? Do you see a lot of similarities between it? Because I do. And that's what makes me really stamping home that Cody should not have won last year. He should absolutely 1,000% win this year.
And that's kind of what we were talking about even last year when, you know, our initial reaction to him losing was just like, how could they do this? Like,
How
why
could they
would they
screw it
do
up?
this? This
Yeah.
is so bad, blah, blah, blah. And even like throughout the year when things didn't seem to be going well, we were like, why would they do that? Like, why did they
Mhm.
have him lose? And then it's just like, now that we've gotten to this point, it's like you have to be thankful for this because like
Mhm.
this is so much bigger now. Like him winning back-to-back rumbles, huge, legendary, like automatic, like legendary status,
Now he's
right?
on the status of Stone Cold,
Yeah.
the man
And
who I don't call Hogan.
yeah,
I'll call
and
him
now
brother. I don't wanna say his name.
if he and now if he beats Roman, it's like even bigger for beating Roman because it's at WrestleMania 40 and now he's been champion for an even a year longer and like
Mhm.
he's faced other people in the meantime that couldn't beat him, you know? And so it feels like it has a lot more meaning now. Um and so I feel like that's the way that I think that they wanted us to think about it initially. But it's like when it comes to wrestling, you know, there was all those teases of The Rock this past week. And it's like that's why you're skeptical and that's why you tend to be pessimistic because things can change at the snap of a finger. And
Mhm.
and so, you know, you start to think, I mean, Cody mentioned it. He was seeing the memes about
Yeah,
finishing the
he's
story.
online.
And it's like, yeah, because people were like, okay, it's over. It's not happening this year. And now it's starting to feel like, okay, no, it is happening this year. It has to happen this year. And the fact that we're going to be there is the part that I
It's
haven't fully like digested yet, I think. Because
yeah, I'm not
you know,
either.
they're of all the big Cody fans in the world, I would say I'm one of them. So
Yeah, you're definitely a big yeah, I would
this
110% agree.
yeah, this is
Totally.
will be a huge moment. And so I'm glad that this is, you know, I said it. This is what I always thought that Cody could be. So I'm glad that he is in this position now. And it's crazy still to be talking about this. I think that the biggest thing from the Rumble match is what happens with Seth, what happens with Drew and Punk and Sammy and Jay and the World Heavyweight title. What are they going to do about Elimination Chamber? Um, Assuming they're going to obviously have one, because that keeps Seth from having to wrestle longer. So I'm like I feel like that's not as solid either. Like I don't know if we're gonna get Punk versus Rollins this year.
I don't know either after Cody won. But we're gonna get Punk at Mania for sure. It's
Punk,
just a
yeah, Punk
matter
will
of
have a Mania match, but he's not gonna main event necessarily or be against Seth necessarily. And I think that that's fine. Again, we were just talking about how we had to wait for Cody to get that. Why can't like CM Punk fans wait? Cody fans had to wait, and it's like Cody fans have had to wait for a long time for him to get anything like this. It's not.
literally
I
anything.
mean, they were just showing like he entered, I forget what number he was 10 years ago in Punk's last Rumble. Like again, no one cared when he came out, you know, and it's like
No one cared.
he had matches scrapped from SummerSlam. Like he couldn't even get on the SummerSlam card, guys. Like it's not the same where Punk was, you know, the longest reigning champion at one point and you know, he was at every Mania and he was headlining this show. It's like Cody hadn't even gotten that. So I feel like Punk fans can wait.
Mhm.
So if that's the decision, I don't think that's a bad idea, especially now when you look back at Raw, the fact that they teased Gunther and Rollins,
It
it's like
makes more sense.
it just makes you wonder why? What are we gonna do? Can you imagine? Winner takes all. Gunther versus oh my god, yo, what if I got to see Gunther walk out and Cody walk out as my heavyweight champions?
You would be on cloud 9.
Oh my god.
You and Icarus out there just going out to the sun.
Who's Icarus?
Icarus is the man who flew too close to the sun and was burned.
Oh, I would I don't even know what I would say. I would just be like, "Oh my god." The idea of Gunther being a double champion, oh my god. That would be pretty sick, if I don't say so myself. Um, I don't really have any other thoughts on
No,
this.
I don't.
I think it was okay. I'm excited to see what happens now because I feel like there's a lot more uncertainty now.
A lot
Um,
more uncertainty, but good. It's a good
a
uncertainty.
good uncertainty because even though out of 3 out of the 4 matches went how we all predicted they were going to, or not how all of us, because I couldn't believe how many people weren't picking Bailey to win the
Yeah,
match.
that was
Um,
wild.
that was weird. How a lot of us thought the show was going to go. I think the men's match being the least predictable in a way, uh, is the best scenario of all of them because I think that the men's had to go this way.
Mhm.
Because there's so many other ways, other situations that can arise from this that are better for Mania and Elimination Chamber than had
Mhm.
Punk won. I think that was going to be more of a problem. But I figured we could get to some comments before we
We'll get to some
head out.
comments before we leave leave the yard. I wish The Rock entered the Rumble. I don't really. I don't think it makes sense for him. And The Rock is even said on record that he's not going to come back to the WWE unless it makes 100% sense for the product itself and him. The only reason I fully agree with that statement is because The Rock is a bigger star than WWE. The
Mhm.
WWE need The Rock more than The Rock needs them. And that is what will make this story between or eventual feud match, whatever, between Roman and him that much better. It's not because, Rock's like, oh, I want to do it and we'll make anything happen. No, it's got to be done the right way. And as someone who has been heavily involved in Hollywood for the past umpteenth years, however long it's been, they're going to do it right and they need to do it. So it's all about just patiently waiting, unfortunately.
I think he's going to be at Mania in some
No,
capacity.
that's
So
that's where I'm gonna be a puddle. That is where you're
yeah,
gonna have to pick me up because I'm gonna be inconsolable when I see The Rock live.
in
It's
our seats, bro.
I know I gotta
It
sell
hit me.
anyone.
It
Does
hit me
anyone
today.
need tickets? Does anyone want to go to WrestleMania in this chat? By the way,
I know. How do you not
um,
have a single friend who will take them from you?
I'm
How?
literally at this point tomorrow because I have off. I'm drafting like a message that we're just gonna blast out to anyone. All right, I'm doing a fair price. All right, fair price for the seats. By the way, we're not selling our tickets. By the way, we just upgraded. Okay, we
Yeah,
upgraded our
we
seats.
because we both have money now.
Yeah, we both are have jobs. It's crazy what jobs can do for you,
Yeah.
and we got upgrades because we want to really experience it. But we got to get rid of the other seats too. You can't two people with 4 tickets see the mismatch. So if you are even interested, I will make it work at this point. We were fair. We bought the tickets on the app. I'll be fair as well. I'm the champ. The champ is not a scumbag. I just want you there, and I want to be fairly compensated as well, so that we can just move on and just go watch the thing we love the most, and that's wrestling. All right. And I'm not
Mhm.
here to try to do any of that bullshit. All right. I'm not Ticketmaster. You want
Yeah.
those charges? Go fucking there. I'm here to just get you the tickets, fair, reasonable price. They're good seats. They're not as good as our new seats, but you're in the arena.
I'm like, yeah,
You're
'cause
at
we
the link.
we we paid like 3 times what our original seats were.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah,
that's
of
what happens
course.
when you have a job.
Exactly.
So,
So and you know what? Like when you're there, we'll come and we'll come see you. We'll, all that. That's what we're all about here. This is just like a hey, here's your tickets, bye. That's what we're about. And we want to see as many of our peeps that join us these 3 shows a week at Mania so we can make these moments come full circle and have special moments like this because that's what these big wrestling weekends like Mania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank at this point, Survivor Series are all about. All right. They're all about meeting other fans and, just expressing the love that we have for this unbelievable sports entertainment industry. So if you want the tickets, please reach out. Because we got to get it done. I'm drafting up a letter tomorrow and just blasting it Facebook groups. So because we got to get that going. I want to go so bad. Bernard, dude, come on. You already are in my DMs already. Just send another Send another message. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that we. I mean, hey Ashton, look, Cody Rhodes has to win it. Made it. Yes, he does.
He has to. Yeah.
He has to. CM Punk. One. CM Punk versus Stone Cold. Wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate that either. And then Gunther
Wouldn't hate
versus
that.
Seth. As long as
Yeah.
Gunther wins.
Yeah, Seth, I'm done. I'm done with
I
Seth
know.
as champion.
All respect, but it feels to me, other than missing Mania not being something he would want to do, understandably, it feels like he has to know what's going to happen for Mania for him to not want to miss it. You know what I mean? To like risk his leg further potentially. To me, it's like he already knows, or they have some sort of plan of like, okay, this is who it's going to be, or this is what we're preliminarily just choosing between.
Talking. Yeah.
So because otherwise it's like if he wasn't down with whatever plan that they were thinking of, then why wouldn't he just take time off?
Exactly.
You know? Like then it wouldn't matter that you missed Mania, right? Like
yeah. You can walk in as champion another year. Like,
yeah.
Don't make it happen for you.
Yeah. So we'll have to see, but that would be pretty sweet. Stone Cold.
Pretty sweet.
That would be
Stone
pretty
Cold.
sweet. Oh, this wasn't on the whole time. Or did you turn it off just now? Was it off the whole time? This scroll.
I was on.
Oh,
it goes away when you do the.
No, it doesn't.
I didn't have it. I've been on here. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Royal Rumble reactions. We will be back on Tuesday for the Raw After Rumble rewind. I'm so excited for that. All right, there's so much going on tomorrow night. It's gonna go down. The Raw. We got the Raw. We got the Raw coming at you. So stay tuned for that Tuesday, 6 p.m. Like always, and in the meantime, go hit that subscribe button if you didn't already. What are you doing? All right, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know when we go live and post. If you want to check out any other of our clips, all right, as we mentioned, we kind of already talked about Bayley and what it means for her to win the Royal Rumble already. So we kind of glanced over it in the show. So if you want to hear those thoughts, go check out our clips in the archives. And then hit the descriptions below to follow us on all social media platforms. All right, we'll be back on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you could do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you Tuesday. Go Lions, baby. Motor City Kitties.